Hello, welcome back to the Simply Digital YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a very easy but also very revealing exercise. We are going to budget out our hours in the week, just like dollars in a salary. Just like you can't spend your money on everything you see a commercial for, you also can't spend your time on everything someone tells you you really should be doing. We're all told we should exercise more and cook more, work harder to get ahead, have your own projects or a side hustle, keep learning, spend time with family and with friends, keep our homes clean and clutter-free, have hobbies, spend time outdoors, read, meditate, volunteer, follow the news. These are all great uses of time. Absolutely. But just like we only have so much money to spend on purchases or investments, we also only have so much time, and no one can do all the things I just listed. Okay, let's get started. First, you're going to want to list out everything you want to spend time on. You can do this in a spreadsheet or a sheet of paper, whatever you like. If you go to Simply.Digital/budget, like I'm showing here on the screen, then you can get this spreadsheet here and use it as a starting point. Okay, let's make our list. Start with the basic ones like eating and sleeping and showering. Yes, even showering. It takes time, so it has to go on the list. And then the big ones, like your regular job, including the time to commute and get ready in the morning, time with your friends and your family and your significant other. If you have any regular appointments, for example, I get my nails done and normally have at least one other appointment every month, those go on there too. And then there are all the things you want to spend your time on. I'll put the ones I rattled off earlier on the screen, and you will of course have some of your own, all the interests and hobbies that make you you. And finally, you probably have a few that are not the quote, I should really blah 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 type things, but also things you're not going to give up. Things like watching TV, checking social media, even checking your own personal email. Unless you're going to say here and now that you're never going to spend another minute on any of those things, they need to go in your budget. I wouldn't make the list too specific. Think of all the specific things you want to spend time on and make sure they fit into one of the categories on your budget. For example, if you want to have time for Friday night date night, Tuesday happy hour, calling your mom on Sunday, and also some spontaneous time with friends, then simply friends and family is good for your list. All of those fit perfectly there. If you want, make a little note on the side about those specifics. That'll make the next step easier. Speaking of which, the next step is to fill in how much time you want to spend on each of these categories. If you're doing this on paper, then make 3 columns: hours, days per week, and then total hours per week. If you're using my spreadsheet, you should see them all there ready for you. Now think of your ideal day, your ideal week. Reality can wait. This is your ideal where nothing goes wrong. Nothing urgent falls in your lap. Your kids are not sick. Nothing suddenly needs your attention in the house. This is an ideal week. In reality, we're rarely going to stick to this plan we're making. This is our ideal schedule to see what we can accomplish in a perfect world. So let's start filling it in. Here are my top rows. I want to sleep 8 hours, 7 days a week. I want to exercise 30 minutes, 6 days a week. Give myself 1 day off. I want to work 8 hours, 5 days a week. I'm going to count getting ready and getting to work separately. So now go through yours, filling in the hours and days columns. Hours and days are how we think about our time. I think the exercise is easier this way. But if you have something that doesn't fit that structure, then just make sure the total hours per week is going to end up being correct. That's the number we're going to be using in the next step. And remember, you're filling in how much time you would really like to spend on each of these things in an ideal week with 7 ideal days. Go ahead and pause the video to finish. I'll wait right here. All done? Okay, if you're using paper, now's the time to get out the calculator. For each row, you're going to multiply the hours and days to get the total hours per week. So for example, I want to sleep 8 hours, 7 days a week. I multiply 8 and 7 and get 56 total hours of sleep per week. If you're using a spreadsheet, especially if you're using my spreadsheet, then this will be done for you. In the spreadsheet, I've also added a column calculating the percent of total time that each line item is taking. That can be interesting to see. So again, with sleep, I take that 56 and divide it by 168. 168 is the total number of hours in every week. That's 24 times 7. Remember that number, 168 is going to keep coming up. And of course, we see that sleeping 8 hours a day ends up being 33% of my total time. You've probably already heard that we spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping. 8 is 1/3 of 24, so of course, 56 is also 1/3 of 168. All right, ready for the next step? Now you're gonna add up the total. Sleeping, cooking, exercising, friends and family, working. You're gonna add up the total. If you're using my spreadsheet, go to the next tab. Tabs are on the bottom, and you'll see a total added up for you. So, does your ideal week fit into a 168-hour week? If it does, if this first time through this exercise you landed under 168, then I'm very impressed. You have a great handle on your priorities and a good intuition for time. But I suspect most of you ended up above 168. So now we're going to go back to our numbers and adjust them. Just like if we were making a financial budget and landed at a number higher than our income. We only have 168 hours to spend every week. All of us, that's all we get. But before you start making changes, I suggest you keep a copy of your first set of numbers to look at again when we're all done. So paper people, get a clean page and copy over your list of things you want to spend your time on. And you're probably going to want a pencil for filling in the numbers so you can keep making adjustments. In step 2, I didn't want you thinking about the totals yet, so I had it add up the numbers and put it hidden in the next tab. Now in step 3, we do want to be thinking about the total, so it's going to be right here in that yellow box. Okay, let's do it. Make cuts until you are under that 168-hour budget. This can be really hard. It's possible for you to cut away everything but real essentials and still be over 168. I do this exercise pretty frequently, anytime I'm struggling to find enough hours in the day for everything I want to accomplish. This shows me if everything I'm trying to get done is even possible. There have been times that it's not. Things change, obligations change. It's not always the case, but there have been times I've cut everything but the absolute essentials and still been over 168. I hope that's not the case for you, because that's not a nice place to be. It can be very overwhelming. But if you realize you're in that situation, then, well, 2 things. 1, you can make a change. Give something up or put something on hold for a while. And you can stop beating yourself up for not doing it all. It's not your fault you're failing to fit 200 hours of productivity into a 168-hour week. That's literally impossible. It's not a failure. But hopefully you were able to make cuts to those I should really blah 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 items and get under 168 hours without too much difficulty. And when you're all done, go back and look at your first draft. Look at the items where the number is really different between what you thought you wanted to be spending on some things and what you realize is your actual ideal goal. So what have we learned? Have you been beating yourself up for not exercising 7 days a week? And now you realize even in your ideal world, you only want to give time to exercise 4 times a week. Have you been struggling with too many jobs and projects and responsibilities and realize that keeping them all is literally impossible? If you have, then it's time for you to decide what has to go rather than letting the world decide for you. Like I introduced with, this is a pretty easy exercise, but it can reveal a lot about your priorities and your limits. I hope you feel more in control of where your time goes now. We did some math, there were calculators and spreadsheets, but in the future, if you repeat this exercise, you can customize it to what's easy and intuitive to you. Like I said, I do this exercise all the time. Anytime I'm feeling like there just aren't enough hours in the day to do what I want to do, I do this to check if what I want to do is even possible. If you're a Simply Goals and Tasks user and you haven't figured it out already, this list of things you want to spend your time on should be your goals in the app, using the amount of time you came up with in the end. You might want to combine a few if you have much more than 8. You can have as many as you want, but it could be cumbersome when adding new tasks if you have a really long list of goals to scroll through. And every now and then, peek at these graphs to see if how you are really spending your time is lining up with these ideal goals you've set for yourself. And if you are not a Simply Goals and Tasks user, that is the to-do list app made by Simply.Digital. You are currently watching the Simply.Digital YouTube channel. If you're looking for a new way to organize your time, then I would encourage you to check it out. All right, that's the end. All the links I've mentioned are in the description of this video, as well as at simply.digital/budget. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Both support this channel and are very much appreciated. And I'll see you next time.